yards or whatever you're trying to do, you're going to have a holdover. Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. So anyway, he does this long-ass video with the walk back, and he finally gets to like 250 yards and takes like a couple of shots and hits the target. And he's like, woo! So I posted the video from us shooting that suppressed 22 when we were at YHM.
Okay.
I was like, oh yeah, Larry, shooting pistols at long range is fun sometimes. And it's like a 275 yard shot on 18-inch steel with like a suppressed 22. So I was like, oh yeah. I wasn't really trolling him, but I was trolling him. And I was like, oh yeah, shooting pistols at long range is fun. Here. And I posted the video. There was no comment. There was nothing. It was like, deleted it and banned me. Like, that was it.
What? What the fuck is that?
Like, because he was like, oh, he's shooting 250 yards with a 10 mil. And then I posted a video shooting 275 with a 22 suppressed. So I guess he felt a little bit like I was trying to one-up him, and all I was really doing was being like,
you weren't trying to one-up him. You just like naturally did. That's your natural state of being.
Wow.
All right. Well, I'm glad he banned you.
It's lovely.
Welcome to the Practical Pistol Show. My name is Ben Seger, here to answer your shooting questions. Today, Grandmaster Tim.
Hey, what's up?
Grandmaster Matt.
Hi.
Sober Keith.
Sober Keith.
Hello. Are you?
Yeah, dead sober.
More or less. Okay. That's good. We got complaints that one time. I'm not going to get into it. All right, guys. Today we are talking about paper versus electronic scoring. And I know what you're thinking in the audience. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's over. It's electronic. That's what we're doing. But no, my friends, apparently it's not. Because at Nationals, when is Nationals, Hopkins?
Week after next.
October, I don't know, 3rd through 10th.
Oh, shit. This'll, maybe I'll change it up in the queue so this will drop before Nationals or something. I don't know. But anyway, apparently Nationals is going to be run on paper scoring. Hopkins.
Yes, it is.
I think a lot of people, myself included, will just kind of have the question, what the fuck? Like, why? I will say it doesn't affect me as a competitor. Like, as a competitor, I don't really give a shit.
Well,
but it just seems backward and weird to run it.
Doesn't it affect you? You have to run around with all those extra sticky notes?
Yeah, I don't fucking like the sticky notes. I can't be trusted with those things.
No.
Right, that does affect me.
I've heard Ben's bad with the notes.
Basically, Matt has to walk around with Ben's sticky notes.
No, I don't do it anymore. I refuse to do it.
Shut up, you'll take them. You want to look out for me?
No, I won't.
Damn, I thought we were bros.
I'm not doing that anymore.
That's fucked up, dude. Anyway, so now I'm definitely in. Well, Hopkins, why?
Why are they doing it? Why are they doing
Why?
paper scoring?
Why?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. You have technology that lets you almost instantly update, and throughout the day you can do scoring updates live if you have a Wi-Fi setup. I don't understand why they don't use it.
All right.
And it's free.
Ish.
It doesn't cost us anything.
No, it is free. F-R-E-E, free.
All right, guys. Let me read you a pretty recent ruling from NROI. And the question was, at a recent match, the ROs prepared a paper backup of each competitor's scores, but the competitors were not given a copy. Wasn't the intent of this rule to provide a tangible, definitive record of scores for the competitor in the event that the posted results are questioned? All right, so this is a question referencing rule number 9112. It's in our USPSA rulebook. And the answer is, Rule 9112 is amended to read, at level 2 or higher matches, range officers shall also create a hard copy record that includes the hit and penalty totals, time of day, competitor initials, and range officer initials for each stage. Copy of this record shall be given to the competitor. Hard copy records are deemed definitive in the event that the score is disputed. And all provisions of these other bullshit rules apply. All right, so it sounds like the way that electronic scoring is normally done would not comply with this rule. Tim, all the majors you've shot, would you get a backup, including a paper backup, including all that shit?
Typically, yes.
Well, typically, I mean, kind of like yes or no,
I mean,
right?
so far I have. I've gotten a paper backup.
That includes all that information?
Yeah, I actually just got back from Indiana sectional this past weekend, and yeah, they kept everything. That it traveled with our squad all the way through until we finished our last stage, and then our last stage, everybody was given their yellow sheet that had their hit factors, time of day, hits, the whole 9 yards of every stage.
Well, did it have the reason for any penalties you got on it?
It just had mics and no shoots, but it didn't have a reason for those penalties. No.
Hold on. Hit and penalty totals. Only the penalty totals. Okay, you're still good then.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, Georgia does this. Everything in Area 6 does it that way.
Well,
because JC,
not everything.
Those guys are pimps.
Well, I think the question is, in this day and age, should we have to have that kind of backup, or can it be like text or email to the competitor and use that way as a backup?
Well, the good thing was, everybody knows the Indiana match was done by Jake Martins. Like, Jake did a really good job too, like with using practice score and having each competitor, as soon as everything was scored, then to review their practice score entry as well. And then they were the ones to actually hit the save button on the, basically to kind of give their handprint of approval, so to speak, as far as their score and everything was concerned too. So, and then of course, like I said, at the end of their 2 days of shooting, they got a paper copy of everything that was registered as well.
So that takes the place of signing. That, like, where normally they would like, oh, here's your score sheet, sign here.
Yeah, we signed that. We initialed our score sheet, but then we were the ones that were to select the save button on the. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: Did they do the thing where they like everybody like really usually like the guy walks around with the Nook and he does the scoring goes on the Nook and then they kind of call it back to the guy to write it down on the paper.
Yep, they did that.
Yeah, I've always felt like if you're like basically that's exactly the same thing that's on the Nook anyway. Like if you've already done it on the Nook and you made a mistake, and you just call it back, that's always seemed like an issue to me. Actually,
it's kind of redundancies.
It just seems like that's like, oh, if a hard drive crashes, but it's not like, oh, I fixed where the guy typed a no shoot instead of an alpha or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, guys, I'm going to tell you, I talked to soon-to-be President Foley about this, because it seems to me that there's a debate going on in some circles of the sport where paper scoring versus electronic scoring is actually still debated by some people. Not us. Not people with webcams. Not those people. Like, I couldn't get any... I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. It's just like there's a debate in some places where it's like, well, there's all these problems with electronic scoring, and it's kind of like, all right. I just want to... I'll be honest. I was at... I think the first area match I went to that had electronic scoring, I think it was in Area 3 like a lot of years ago. It was fucked. It was terrible. Like, the scoring devices were fucked. They all like overheated in the sun and fell apart. It was a shit show. It was a disaster. And at that time, I was like, electronic scoring, fuck off with that. That sucks. All right? But you know what? It's not 2010 anymore. They fixed it. They've sorted it out. So, whatever. It worked. The scores get entered properly, so whatever. But the point I'm making, and I made to President Foley, is this debate is fucking over, right? It's over. The sport has adopted practice score. Your club match more than likely does shit on a tablet. That's it. It's over. So why do we not have the rules? Because there's all these kind of requirements for giving the competitor a backup or whatever. We have the technology. Practice Score can issue you an email receipt for your score. You can approve it on the tablet, whatever. Why don't we just get the rules in line with kind of what people are doing, maybe tweak it a little bit, and everybody's happy. We can kind of move on. That's what I told soon-to-be President Foley. Hopkins, was I wrong about this?
No, I think you're actually right. And I know Ken Nelson has developed a program that has addressed all the issues that some people were having, like not being able to tell you what the penalty was for. There's a program, like a version of the practice score software out there that does that.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's widely distributed. I think you have to request it, but it's out there. I don't know why we're not using it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Does it seem odd that this is a debate for some people?
Well, there are some clubs that do a really good job with their paper scoring, and they've kind of just always done it. But I think it's just obnoxious. I think that I think that people don't want to learn something new, maybe, or whatever. There's plenty of issues to sort out with practice score, with whatever the electronic scoring is. But I think that in general, well, electronic scoring is going to be, it's the way. You know, like,
Well, that's the way it's going, whether you want it or not.
huh,
Right.
you're getting it no matter what. So the
Okay.
question is not like whether it's paper or electronic. It's how do we make this work? Like, there's lots of issues that are maybe certain things about practice score that are hard to figure out for your average guy who's, you like Ben apparently heard from a few of them. He cranked it up on the old phone and like dialed them on the and
Yeah.
talked to some people that have some debate. Like, those old guys, it's going to take a minute to learn something, but it's really just like fix what we have. Paper's done. So let's just, like, how do we fix what we got? Like, let's not even talk about paper. Just fix what we got.
Yeah, well, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Paper scoring is kind of my question. Like, why is that a thing that we're doing? It's kind of, I have a friend who's my age, and he doesn't have a cell phone. He doesn't like cell phones. He has a landline.
Smartphone, right?
No, he doesn't have a cell phone of any description.
Wow.
Because he doesn't like them.
Does he use cans?
And it's kind of like, if I'm going to hang out with this guy, this can sometimes cause problems. Because we live in an age where I can communicate with you, like what I'm doing, where I am. Hey, we're going to go hang out over here. Like, no, I'm going to be 10 minutes late, whatever. And he just doesn't get that this is fucking idiocy. It doesn't make any sense. Like, the world has moved 2 cell phones and passed them to this other badass thing called a smartphone, where not only can you make phone calls, the phone calls are fucking pointless because you can just send a text really fast while you're surfing porn. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to not be able to communicate with
This is
people.
true.
The world has moved on. It's like it's fucking crazy. I don't get it.
Man, you've had that bottled up for a while.
He was holding that
This
back.
guy
He was
drives
like,
me
"Man,
fucking nuts with this stuff. He's like, we ought to have a cell phone. I'm like, why? He's like, it's too much. It's like $20. Like, oh my god, are you fucking crazy with this?
buy him a track phone. Buy him a track phone at the convenience store next time you're there, picking up your monster drinks, and like, it's to Ben. Just label it like, Ben with like crystals or something, like bedazzle it with your name on
Jesus.
it, and like only you can text him, and that's it.
No, it just seems like there's always going to be people who are dragging their feet as kind of the world moves forward. And I'm not a guy who really likes. I don't like new technology for its own sake. I'm not I don't buy some piece of tech that is pointless and try to make myself like it. Like, I think tablets are fucking dumb. They don't make any sense to me. It does not serve me in any way to purchase a tablet when I can buy a laptop for the same money that does way more shit and it's just about as portable. Right?
Yeah.
That's like, I don't
I
like
have a
that
tablet.
anymore.
I have a tablet because my portfolio is on it, and that's specifically it. And it's easy to watch movies on the airplane. But you're talking about, I don't know.
What I'm talking about is people being kind of like people dragging their feet when the world has moved past it. You know?
I would agree.
Well, it's convenience over anything else. So
Well, to me,
if the technology makes sense, it makes things simpler and more direct and more easy to deal with. Like, then yes. If it's just technology for the sake of technology, then that's dumb.
Well, to me, right now, it is easier just to, okay, we're going to do electronic scoring.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just going to do it.
Yeah.
I was there when it didn't work, and it was like, yeah, that's retarded. Like, it doesn't work. But now it works. It works really well.
It works great.
Yeah, it works well enough where it's Hopkins. We did IPSC Nationals, which did not comply with the current USPSA rule.
I was going to ask you guys that. Yeah.
Did you give a shit, Hopkins?
No, the only thing I made sure was when they were like, before they hit approve, I looked at it and made sure it was right.
Yeah.
But
so
we didn't sign but one score sheet all day, We didn't get like an email, and it was perfectly fine.
Cool.
Okay.
The scores were all right.
Okay, so let's just say we assume that we're going to do electronic scoring, Hopkins.
Yeah.
How would you, in a perfect world, like what would it have to be? And so I'll tell you, like, kind of my opinion on it is, I think they should put it on the tablet. I think they should, if there's some crazy ass penalty on there, it probably should be able to display a reason for that penalty right on there for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think that you should be the guy to hit save if
I
you're the
agree.
competitor, and then I think it should instantly email you a copy of that score.
I would 1,000% agree with that.
But is there any tweaks you'd have to that?
I do
agree with
think-
everything there. The only thing I can think of would be, I don't know. I mean,
Honestly-
that's available right now.
Right. No. This is not.
This is not hypothetical. It's available.
Right, no, I've shot matches that do it this way. That's not what I'm. But I'm saying, should we get USPSA rules to say, all right, this is totally cool. Like if you run a major match like this is okay.
Yes.
What's
Yes,
gonna
to
stop the
allow
match
it in the
from
rules.
doing it?
What's that?
What's going to stop the match from doing it anyway?
Well, because right now a competitor signing their shit, like it doesn't say in the rules that you can just click save or approve on the tablet.
Well, interesting you say that. They voted in a board meeting back in 2011 that they changed the rule that the president can allow email verification of scores, and that's okay. It has to be done beforehand, and the president can approve it.
Well, that seems kind of crazy. Why would the president have to approve it for every match? You just muted yourself, asshole.
I was typing. I said, I don't know, but it makes sense.
All right, so
Well,
I don't want to
but
make
that's-
extra work for Foley.
Well,
But that's
here.
approval of score. But that's approval of score, like the total scores at the end, not the hitting save at stage 5. In lieu of your signature.
But that eliminates the problem with having a paper backup. So the board voted
Well,
back on.
We've
the
already established that the
224
paper
board
backup
meeting.
is. Sorry.
We've already determined that paper's retarded.
The
Yeah.
paper backup is just they're writing down what they already put in the nook. So the paper backup's superfluous anyway, unless somebody smashes all the nooks.
If you do that, you're fucked.
Well, yeah, but like unless there's like some catastrophic hard drive failure, the paper backup is literally exactly what the guy just typed in there because the dude's sitting back there in the shade underneath the thing waiting for the dude to read him back the shit off the nook.
So what are we
Dude
worried
in
about
the
then?
shade, waiting for the guy
The
to read the shit.
scorekeeper actually enters the wrong data? That we have no
No,
way to
that's
prove that?
happened. But you don't have that proof. It's like somebody says, 289 or whatever, and the guy writes down 89 for your time or whatever. I don't know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
That
but
stuff
that-
happens.
that
But
would
that
be-
happens.
Right, but as for a competitor, that doesn't matter whether it's typed into an electronic scorekeeping tablet or whether that's written down.
Right.
I mean, and as a competitor, that's that's you checking that, like, oh, nope, that time's not right. Before I hit save, that needs to be changed.
Exactly. It doesn't
So-
matter if it's paper. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The mistake was already made. The only thing the paper backup's doing is duplicating the mistake. If you don't catch it, the only thing the paper backup's doing is writing down the mistake again on something
Right.
that's not going to matter.
Exactly. It just becomes a redundancy.
Yeah.
Let me
All
ask
right.
you guys this: at IPSC Nationals, were they updating the results almost in real time? I mean, did they have was everything all pretty much up to Wi-Fi to where they could?
I suspect they were updating them in real time, but they did not transmit the update out for everyone to see.
Yeah, they did that.
I know the guy-
Jake was really good with having a guy drive around in a golf cart or one of those
No, I think they were all wired for Wi-Fi.
Gator deals. But he was driving around all the way down the end of the range and back to make sure that everybody could sync up their tablets and download everything almost, to the second, which was really cool. So, but at the same time, they didn't allow anybody really to see anything until the end of the day of that match. But
We do it like live.
wow,
Well,
Okay.
yeah. What we did here for state is actually literally went in and put in Wi-Fi antennas to cover the because it's
The
in a
whole
black
range?
hole, cover the whole range because the range was in a black hole. Like JC and Bedell, they went and they figured out the coverage. They have live thing in there. There's actually, if you go to where this the stat shack would be, or where the burger stand is,
right?
under there, there's They had actually put up a big screen TV. They were just putting the results automatically to there. So you could walk up, it would just start scrolling the results. If you just wanted to sit there and like look at whatever was happening, you could do that, or you could walk up, grab a mouse, and say, okay, like what's going on in production right now. So you could like, stalk Yantola, like no problem, without him even knowing.
What system was that, Keith? Was that practice?
I mean, they're running practice score, but they're just feeding it out to the television. JC Wren and those guys have got it nailed down big time.
It sounds like it's already like the thing we want is done already.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
The
problem I have with this whole thing is the board voted in February of 2014 that upon approval, USPSA President Level 2 or higher matches may substitute electronic backup and recovery score records for hard copy score records.
Well,
And
Hopkins.
then in September 2015, Troy McManus makes a ruling where that's null and void. I don't understand that. How can the director of NORI overrule the board?
Well, Hopkins, you do Hopkins.
What?
Here's my feeling. There's a group of people. I don't know how big it is or how many it is, but kind of like the old school like range officer dudes who want to do paper scoring, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that's where the kind of this like resistance is coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who all that is, but it's kind of like it just seems. It's kind of like Hopkins, travel agent or Priceline, which is better? If you answered what's a travel agent, you answered correctly, right? It's
I remember back
2015,
in like middle
motherfucker.
school, I saw a travel agent once.
It's
in a
like
mall.
it's over. It's fucking over. Travel agents are done. It's like why are you scoring shit on paper? I pay my fucking mortgage without paper. What are you talking about? My head's like I don't get it.
I think you're bleeding from the ears right now.
I don't like. I'm fine with people disagreeing with this. Like, if you like paper scoring better, if you genuinely like it better, that's totally fine. But if we were doing a contest, if paper scoring versus electronic scoring was a little league game, we'd have fucking called it by now. Like, it's over. Like, you lost. It's done.
Right.
Yeah, we'd have called it a long time ago. The game is over.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter what you like or what you think, really. Like, the sport has moved to electronic scoring, and it's done. So now let's make electronic scoring good. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. The only other thing you could do with paper scoring is you could make it a scantron. So I'm going really old school. None of you, I don't think.
Still have to manually
use
input all the
scantron.
info. Still shit.
Right, you do the scantron thing and you run it through in there, but it's like basically there's your paper, and now you can quickly enter it.
Oh shit! You were serious?
Well, I'm offering an option.
Are you fucking crazy? What are you talking about?
Yes, I'm fucking crazy. I'm friends with you, idiot. Like,
How much have you had to drink, Keith?
Are you talking about like the SAT?
Totally sober.
You fill in the bubbles?
Sure.
Yes, that is a scantron, Matt. That's for the suggestion.
That's bad, dude. I don't even know what to say. That's bad.
Oh my god!
That's the only thing I can come up with.
My head's gonna explode.
Okay, so we're gonna have 32 lines with A, B, C, D.
I'm gonna lose my
Mike,
stickers.
no shoe, procedural.
Yep.
And then we're gonna list all the different ways you can get a procedural, all the different
All
ways
of
you can get DQ. But that was gonna be 4 foot long by the time we get done.
Well, Ben won't lose it then. Because
Yes,
it'll
I
be big.
will.
What if they do lose it?
All right, never mind. My
You gotta
idea's
manually
stupid.
write it
Moving
down
on.
to the competitor anyway.
Okay.
1 minute, so Keith, you went and shot Georgia State, and you're like,
Still
they
more
nailed it.
shooting.
It's live updates. You had the
Perfect.
computer. It's fucking awesome. You're like, well, what about scantrons? That'd be like.
I'm just offering a suggestion.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't say it was good. It's just a suggestion. I made you a sandwich. There might be some cardboard in it, but I made you a sandwich. There you go.
Oh my God, this podcast is out of control. I'm not, Hopkins. I'm not moving this up in the queue. This is going to air after nationals.
That's
It's too
junk.
crazy.
So nationals, they're doing it full paper.
Yes.
By request of
Wow.
USPSA.
Yes.
Okay, so what are they doing? They're doing the old, like, follow everybody, do the paper, and then they're entering it immediately, or are they taking it to a shack with like the wives are in there?
Oh, I'm sure they've got the wives and the runners. Yeah, I'm sure.
They do. They're going. It's going to be just like production action.
Jesus, no! What they're gonna do, Keith, is they're gonna fill out the scantron. Then the guy comes by the phone,
Exactly.
the scantron, and they drive it over there and they feed it into the thing.
The guy's going to need a trailer just to hold all that computer equipment to
It's
run the
gonna-
scantron thing.
It's getting lots of sharpened number 2 pens.
And the pencils they got to do that.
Guys, I've
Oh,
got it.
man.
No. Here's how we do it.
They just
So
blew the whole budget.
No, they fill it out on paper, and then we get an app. Ken will make an app for your smartphone, and then you take a picture of it, of the Scantron with your smartphone, and boom, the scores update.
That honestly, that's okay.
Yes, it would work, but it's crazy. It's crazy because it involves
We already have
Scantron,
what we want.
dumbass.
We already have what we need.
It's crazy.
It's out there.
Okay.
It's completely nuts. Holy shit.
I don't know.
I'm having a fucking aneurysm right now.
Some clubs don't want to buy the. It's expensive to buy a bunch
Keith,
of.
are you sure you're not on the
books.
board?
What stake do you have in paper company?
I have none. Only Ticonderoga, the Ticonderoga Pencil Company. I have a 25% share, but nothing in paper. No, so like the investment in the electronics, I guess that could put off, like, Joe Bob's Club in the middle of nowhere, Utah or something like that. But it's not for a national.
Dude, you're a hillbilly from Georgia, and your club has it licked. What?
Oh yeah,
You guys
That's
have
the
it
best.
cracked. It's like the best ever.
Why wouldn't HQ have the hardware to drop at any area match out there? And
HQ doesn't shoot, you idiot.
Well, maybe they fucking should.
Nobody at HQ shoots.
How hard would it be to have Wi-Fi set up hardware to drop at a range with the support guy and have all the tablets and stuff there?
How hard would it be to set up a booth at a trade show when you pay for the spot? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, for reals.
Tim caught that right. Oh, you go to the trade shows, Keith. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
He knows exactly which one too.
Actually, yeah.
I'd be more than one at this point.
They did a good job. They did a good job at the last NRA show. Really good job.
Well, does it make up for the one they were non-existent at before that?
Well, no, but they did a good job.
Jesus Christ. All right, Hopkins, anything else to say?
No, I don't understand how director of NRI can change a board's vote, but
That's
That's
just what he
weird.
does, dude.
I'm gonna email my board director to talk about that issue.
I already-
Was there a paper backup of that vote?
Yeah, it's recorded in the.
No, they put it on a
saying.
fucking Scantron.
It's
gotta
a
prove it.
Scantron.
It's all mine. That's all I do.
Tim, I'm gonna have I'm seriously, I'm gonna have a fucking aneurysm from
You
this.
have to take some Excedrin after this one.
Dude, I'm losing my mind a little bit with this crazy shit.
Honestly, why they haven't gone to electronic scoring is beyond me.
No, you don't understand.
Like the entire time.
No, you don't understand, Tim. You're not fully grasping.
Yeah.
So we shot. Let me explain it to you one more time. Make sure you get it. So we shot a match, IPSC Nationals in Florida, and they had an awesome electronic scoring system. It all got done. Bang, bang, boom. It was fantastic. I think they even wired Wi-Fi throughout the whole range. Okay, no issues. So they didn't. They didn't not go to electronic scoring. Let me just give you the full sense of it. They have electronic scoring good to go where they're going to hold nationals.
At the same range.
At that range, good to go.
3 weeks later.
All right.
And you're not going to
they
use
said,
it.
No. You go fuck your electronic scoring. We're doing this shit on paper, baby.
We're doing this shit in 1983.
It's like that's so
Hey
crazy.
Ben, I got a prediction for that. That we're not waiting for the band guy to be done when they do awards. We're waiting for the paper scoring to be done for the awards.
No, they'll knock it out.
Maybe Manny sold them the paper so that he can fund the runoff.
Dude, he did that so he could get those pamphlets no one
What
saw.
runoff campaign?
I'm just saying, like maybe he has a secret plan. His dastardly plan involves scantrons and lots of pencils. All right, it's going to be devastating when it happens. I'm just saying, just wait.
I'm anticipating that Manny's campaign will continue the same as it has.
With scantrons.
Nope, there will be no scantrons. There will be no nothing. There will be.
I've got nothing else to this. We've beat this horse to death, and we've burnt the stable that the horse used to live in.
Yep, we should have stopped 10 minutes. We should have stopped.
No, I'm getting fucking madder just talking about it.
Yeah, you are.
Let's do a shooting question.
That's part of this too.
That's what the show's supposed to be about. Fucking shooting questions. Our indoor club recently shot a short stage, which presented a choice. You shoot a pair of targets on a hard lean around the right edge of a wall while taking support from a rope suspended from the ceiling. Okay? Or you shoot the same targets from about 8 yards further away. All right, that's how the stage was set up. It seemed to be a pretty fair trade-off. About half the non-lefty shooters with enough upper body strength to be able to comfortably lean shot supported, and the other half took the position further away. The results suggested that neither strategy was clearly superior, as the two best hit factors were posted by shooters taking different approaches. I'd be interested to hear you and your panel's views, not only on what they might do with this specific choice, but how to make such choices during a match. Thanks, and kudos for the great podcast. I especially enjoyed every episode when Keith was drunk. Yes! True.
This is for you, brother. I'm sober tonight. I'm sorry.
All right, Tim. You understand the setup. It's a little tough to visualize. So you're going to take a position, grab a rope, and shoot one-handed around a wall, or you shoot 8 yards further away.
I think I'd probably take the 8 yards further away and shoot two-handed.
Okay, why?
I just got a little more recoil control. Things are probably a little more comfortable just being able to shoot with two hands on the gun versus kind of hanging from a rope, shooting, maybe probably one leg hanging in the air while you're trying to hang around a wall and shooting, strong hand only.
All right, so Hopkins, would you go freestyle or one-handed?
And there's too many factors to tell, like how hard's the target.
These are open targets or what?
Like, I guess the things that I would factor in: how hard is the target? What do I have to do after I'm doing that, if anything?
Yeah. Like it.
How far the targets are away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
8 yards further is a big deal when they're 2 yards away, right?
I agree.
But if they're 30 yards away, it's maybe not as big of a deal because I wouldn't want to shoot 30 yards strong-handed.
If it's point blank,
shooter.
What?
The skill level of the shooter, like everybody's different. Some people might not.
Well, you're a fucking grandmaster.
I still don't know what the targets look like.
Yeah, it's hard to tell without really knowing what the stage looks like or what we're looking at.
We kind of had this decision at IPSC Nationals, right? But there was no farther or closer. We had a choice. We could shoot a target freestyle or stronghand.
Uh-huh.
So we determined that it was be better to shoot stronghand because then we wouldn't have to transition to finish the stage stronghand only.
Yeah.
So we just started to shoot the targets stronghand only to begin with.
Right, okay.
So, I mean, there's tons of factors in this. I don't really think we can tell unless we saw a picture or the target distance.
No, not a picture. We'd have to see the whole stage, right? To know what you would want to do.
Yeah.
Keith?
Matt, I like your point about what's next, right? So given a complete vacuum, if it's like two targets, you got to hang off a rope and shoot or whatever. In my mind, I'm automatically going to go to the shoot freestyle. Having shot a bunch of stuff that Peter Oliver designed where you have to hang off of ropes and do a bunch of bullshit with ropes, it's annoying. You don't practice that. It's weird. It's risky. But without knowing the target distance, if they're point blank, yeah, you're going to go up there and just rail on that shit and move on. But again, like without knowing what's next, I don't know. If that's the end of the stage, I don't,
I'll say this. So when you see stuff like that on a stage where it's like, it's the same amount of movement, same amount of shots.
Yeah.
It'll take a little more time to maybe get into the position and start shooting strong hand, but maybe I can shoot a little faster because I'm a little closer, but maybe it's a little harder to shoot because I'm shooting one-handed, whatever. When I look at a stage like this and I see that everything's... I mean, I have to go where I got to go, and I've got to shoot the same number of targets and all that stuff. And I know that I would probably pick up that the results are going to be a lot different. The guy sending it in said, yeah, people went different ways. It wasn't really clear which strategy was better. I would probably pick up on that looking at the stage, and I would recognize immediately it's going to be pretty much even up on the results, which means I get to shoot it however I like, whatever I feel most comfortable with in a very subjective sense, whatever I dig, I'm going to do it. And I don't really give a shit what anyone else does. The exception to that would be if it's a tight match, you're shooting against some dude, I'd just do whatever he does, because that way we're even up and it just comes down to execution, right? So you can make decisions that way. But my inclination is just I'll do whatever feels right.
Right.
Whatever I feel, because I know it won't make a big difference. Go ahead, Keith.
Ben, talk about this, because I want to hear what you have to say about this, because I've done this with you when you were here doing classes, and It was very interesting, because most people don't get a lot of chance. Like, you shoot a stage in a match, you shoot it once, you're done. And then next week there might be something similar, but it's not the exact same thing. And so one of the things that you were doing with us recently when you were here was like, okay, you even had us say like, okay, you shot the stage, and then you're like, okay, guys, what's the most fucked up way you would do this? And then you would shoot it again, even like the quote-unquote wrong way, and it would be basically the same.
Yeah, like within about 5% usually.
Yeah, within that range. So I think what you just said is like it's kind of been huge to my thought process on it. It's like just shoot the way that's comfortable for you. So, but what about that? What about that? Like running something completely backwards, forwards, from the left, from the right, from the this, from the that.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Is like you've got to go. I either got to go to the wall, or I've got to go to this other spot that's over here, and it's gonna. I just know from my training, it's kind of like I'm gonna shoot strong-handed at 8 yards, about as fast as I'll shoot freestyle at 16 yards or something. I just trained. I know it's not going to be a big difference. I know it'll come down to execution when you have a choice to make like that. That's what you've got to get in your head. It comes down to how well you execute, and that frees you up. Well, I should say the worst case scenario here is that you're looking at a stage like this where it doesn't fucking matter how you do it. It's not going to affect the result which way you go, and you're going to sit there and hem and haw about which way to do it. That's not going to be beneficial to your shooting. You need to get in there and execute. So
clear the brain space first. Get the clearest brain space and do it that way.
Yeah, dude. If it comes down to your execution, get that in your head early. It's like, hey, I just feel more comfortable going over here and shooting freestyle, and I don't really like the strong hand position. I don't like this rope. I don't like the whatever. Then don't do it. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. You don't need to get that. You sit there and make a decision like that and worry about it. It's especially big at when we shot IPSC Nationals, Hopkins. There was a lot of stupid ass choices people had to make. That would be like, well, I can go left or I can go right, but it's kind of like symmetrical, so it doesn't really fucking matter, right? And if you just put it in your brain, I'm gonna do just whatever. I'm gonna walk in there and I'll just do whatever feels comfortable, whatever I know it won't make a difference, and that'll free you up to think about executing. Yeah. Like
if it's a mirror stage or whatever.
Of course.
Whichever side makes most sense to you. Can I ask you guys? Can I ask you and Hopkins a question about nationals? And I know you don't like to talk about videos, but Hopkins, I think there was a video on your Facebook of you guys like shooting a particular stage, and Matt did it one way, and you and Yantola did it differently.
Was that the one where you had to back up?
The zigzag, right? So there was like a thing where so basically the two ways to look at the stage were where you started up front and drew and shot, and then you had to back up, which seemed like a little bit of an uncomfortable backup, and then you kind of proceeded through the rest of the stage. And then the way Ben and Nick did it was to start at the back where you would have been at the end of the backup, and they just, hey, kitty. Yeah. They just immediately just drew, ran forward. Because you got to go to the same place, but the movement seemed uncomfortable.
All right, well, Keith, here was the decision that we had. Okay,
I don't know the targets.
Okay, so we shot the same targets from the same places, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We had the same amount of movement, right? Because
Correct.
either you had to shoot a couple targets and take a step forward, or shoot a bunch of targets and take a step back, right? You following
Right.
this? So the choice was, do you want to draw on an easy target and then leave on a little piece of steel, or do you want to draw on the little piece of steel and know that you've knocked it down, and then take the awkward step backward and shoot the easy stuff?
Yeah, I
Hopkins-
couldn't see what the targets. Yeah.
Right. So there you go. It's like, so Hopkins knows it's like we're gonna do all the same shit, right? Hopkins knew, like, hey, I don't want to try and leave on that dumbass little piece of steel.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I was like, I don't want to draw on that little dumbass piece of steel. Right?
Right.
That was the exact choice. I mean, that was it to a T. I didn't want to leave on the little steel, so I decided to shoot it first and shot backing up. They all decided the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
tell
figured it
you,
was a target.
not everybody hit that on the first shot.
So Keith, think about it like this. Every stage is a shit sandwich.
Yep.
Right? You can eat it any way you want. You can cut it in half and just take it in halves. You can cut all the crust off and then eat the whole sandwich, then finish on the crust. You can cut it into quarters, right? You can peel the top of the bread off, kind of lick all the shit off and eat it, and then eat the bottom. It doesn't matter.
Are you writing a chapter for the new book? This is awesome.
You're eating it all.
Yeah, you got to do it one way or the other. You got to do it.
Right, you got to do it. And once you understand that like, hey, well, I'm eating the sandwich one way or the other.
Yep.
It makes it a lot easier to make decisions.
I think that's brilliant. It's like I think a lot of people really don't get that. I mean, and obviously I still don't get it very often.
Well, I think that just the knowledge.
Onto that is a stage that would let you shoot like harder shots from other positions.
Yeah.
Which pretty much you don't see very much.
No,
you don't
that's
see
true.
that very much.
Yeah, we get that with Peter Oliver's a dick.
I think he's a nice guy.
Oh, he's a good friend of mine. He just sets up dick stages, like to give you like, oh, well, you can shoot it over here, like standing on your head, or you can shoot it over there from like 30 yards away, or you can like run like 100 yards and then shoot it at 2 feet away. Yeah, so those are your choices. Live with them.
All right.
That stuff's but that's interesting to me.
Yes. I think we nailed it. Keith, thank you for coming on. If people want to tell Keith to drink more or less or keep the same BAC, Sight Picture Media, right?
Yep, sightpicturemedia.com.
Right. So if you liked any of the cover art for my books, Keith did none of that.
The DVD.
If you like the cover
DVD.
for the DVD, he did that. So that would be him. Hopkins, you can get him at hopkinsshooting.com. And Tim Herron, also at hopkinsshooting.com. If you have a question for me, head over to bensteiger.com. Send me your question. I'd love to hear from you. And we would love to talk about it on the air.